good boy. That's a good boy. That's such a good boy. Oh, hey, you caught me playing with my dog. Oh, settle down, buddy. You know, Jax is such a good dog, and I think there's a reason why we call dogs man's best friend. I mean, Jax here is he's loyal, he's friendly. Come on, bud. Ah, and he's fun to be around. And I think that's, you know, I think in a way that's what men are looking for in relationships with other men. You know, we want friendships like we have friendships with dogs.
What an odd thing to say.
I feel like I should probably explain myself on that one. So look at the entertainment industry. And there's so many examples of guys having their best friend around to challenge them, to comfort them, or just to be there when things go sideways. They grow together. They learn and find ways to become better men because of their friendship. I mean, you got Luke and Han, Frodo and Sam, Dalton and Wade from Roadhouse, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, just to name a few. I think the reason these bromances kind of resonate with us guys is, you know, these are the kinds of friendships and relationships that are essential to growing as a man and as a human being. We see these relationships and we desire to be challenged, and we want to strive for competition in terms of competence. And we want someone to listen to us and understand that being a guy is kind of difficult. But friendships among men is in drastic decline. In 1990, 3% of men reported having no close friendships. In 2021, that number rose to 15%. And more than half of men report not having any more than 6 total friends. Even the term close friendships is a bit misleading, as the societal norm for men is to keep things, you know, to himself and not to want to bother anyone with their problems. But the main idea of friendships dwindling among men remains the same. So how did we get here? Why do so many men not have friends? Part of it may be the individual's choice. After all, with all the craziness happening in the world today, it may be of some comfort not to want to interact with people, regardless of where you may fall on social or political issues. It's much easier to avoid people than to want to get in the ins and outs of the social climate. But I don't think that's a big reason. There are 2 issues that I see that are hindering men from being able to form and cultivate deep quality relationships with one another. Number one is the impact of social media. Since social media is so new, relatively, we have little data on the impact it has had on our culture or society. But we can see changes and shifts on how we interact with one another. Instead of the old days of taking actual chunks of time and choosing to invest it in a real human being, it's much easier to broadcast your perfect kids, your perfect car, your perfect house, your perfect wife, your perfect life.
Practically perfect in every way.
Or you're the social media complainer, you know, the one that just complains about anything and everything. We all know at least one of those types of people. Or maybe you are that type of person.
Okay, fine, but I'm gonna complain the whole time.
Yeah!
Social media makes it easy to portray that you either got your stuff together and you can ignore the people who annoy you. But it's not a real representation of your life. You know, maybe your kids are being bratty, or your house payments are behind, or your wife has depression. Your car is a lease, and your job may get shipped overseas. The point is that social media has rewired a part of our brains to the point where we're convinced that everyone else is doing better than we are, or that they're crazy. So why would you take the time to hang out with people who are doing so much better than you or who are so much worse than you? Reason number 2.
Another one.
And I think this is the biggest one. We have a large swath of men in this country who will not grow the hell up. Psychologist Dan Kiley foresaw this in his 1983 book, Peter Pan Syndrome, Men who have never grown up. In the book, Dr. Kiley describes a small subsection of men who refused or struggled to take on adult responsibilities. Unfortunately, the Peter Pan syndrome seems to have taken hold of large portions of men today, and women, but mostly men, who refuse or can't hold a job. Misbehavior or absenteeism runs rampant. They're not doing their fair share of work at work or at home, not moving out of their parents' house, relying on others to provide and support them. They're also spending vast amount of resources on childish things. For example, there's nothing wrong with video games. I play them myself, but there are men who spend way too many resources on video games. I've spoken with teenagers all the way up to 30-year-olds that think that they're going to strike it rich as a video game content creator. And spending a bunch of time, money, and other things on video games is seen as an investment to their future. Now, for the few that do make money playing video games all day, God bless you. But if your son or daughter was an athlete and you knew that they were never going to even sniff the pros, would you encourage them to forsake their actual future for the one that has a 99.9% chance of not happening? We need to be realistic. We've been taught to dream big, but not to dream realistically. We've been told failure is the worst, but failure is just another opportunity to try something new. The main mission of this channel is to help men cultivate relationships with one another. Because of the decline in friendships among men, we have a deficit of accountability and motivation to help this world. Men become stronger together. In fact, health studies have determined that having a good male friend actually has health benefits, including the release of oxytocin, which reduces stress and increases resilience in difficult circumstances. It's often said that men will be with other men side by side, while women prefer to be face to face with other women. So one aspect of that is that females are generally more social than men, but biologically, men are naturally drawn toward working toward fixing or building something. But it is very important to get face to face with your friends. Despite the social pressure that's been passed down from generation to generation, that men opening up is weak or girly or gay, screw that. Go tell a man he's doing a great job. Tell him that you're proud of him, and watch him. Watch his face. He may try to hide it, but those words mean more to him than damn near anything. That's what happens when you go generations without hearing a positive word or any encouragement whatsoever. So be that person. I think a lot of these Peter Pans would be more encouraged to launch, if we'd come alongside them and built them up, built into them, help them convince them that they have something to offer this world. Otherwise, these men become large infants. They're bitter and angry and resentful, spiteful, immature, immobile, and useless. Which is a shame, because every man has something he can offer the world. So that is your homework. Find a guy, a friend, an acquaintance, and encourage him. Make his day. Find something that he did that was awesome and point it out, even if it's small. Because that person, hopefully, will feel encouraged, which literally means to have courage. And they could take their next step toward becoming the man that they want to be.
This is our handbook. I wrote the whole thing myself.
Well, guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I would encourage you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and that little notification bell, and you'll be notified next time I have a new video on this channel. All right, and I'll see you next time.